Released in 1993 by Cyan, Myst is a landmark in the history of video games, not only because of its commercial success, but also for how it defied conventional gaming norms of the time. Known for its atmospheric design and mysterious storyline, it sparked a heated debate regarding its classification. Is Myst a traditional game? Is it an interactive novel or a walking simulator? A slideshow? Or perhaps a groundbreaking new form of immersive multimedia interactive entertainment? To understand its legacy, we must first explore these different perspectives and examine Myst in the context of its time, ultimately understanding its role as a bridge to the modern era of open-world 3D gaming. So join me in this Retro Gaming Boss retrospective to answer the question, what is Myst? Before we dive into it, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is always here for a quick retro gaming break whenever you need it. I appreciate your support, since it's the only way YouTube will highlight my videos. From a traditional perspective, Myst is a game. It incorporates elements such as puzzles, exploration, and a goal to be completed, key aspects commonly found in other games. Players control an unnamed protagonist who, after discovering a mysterious book, is transported to the world of Myst. The player navigates different environments, solves puzzles, and uncovers pieces of a cryptic narrative. The game's progression depends entirely on the player's ability to solve these puzzles, unlocking new areas and ultimately the secrets of the island. However, unlike most contemporary games that were heavily action-oriented or had more immediate gameplay feedback loops, Myst focused on slow, deliberate exploration and observation, and logic-driven problem-solving. It was more about discovery than traditional power-ups or combat challenges, leading some to argue that Myst redefined what it meant to be a game. The absence of enemies in a linear progression system might suggest that Myst is less of a conventional game and more of an exploration in an interactive, puzzle-based world. Another common perspective is that Myst is akin to an interactive novel. In fact, its narrative structure and delivery method were deeply influenced by traditional storytelling. The plot, centered around your exploration of the island, is presented in a highly minimalistic manner. There are no long dialogues or cutscenes. Instead, the story unfolds through books found scattered across the island. Each book transports the player to a new distinct world where specific narratives unfold. The way that Myst delivers its story, through environmental clues, written text, and visual exploration and observation, draws direct parallels with how a novel might present an unfolding plot. The puzzles themselves serve as metaphors for deciphering the narrative. Each puzzle solved reveals a different part of the mystery, and players gradually uncover the fate of the island's inhabitants. From this perspective, Myst resembles an interactive novel with how it prioritizes atmosphere, mood, and intellectual engagement over fast-paced action or combat. Another perspective on Myst is that it is, in essence, just a slideshow of sorts. Myst is composed of pre-rendered, still images that players click through to move through the game world. The game's design was limited by the small memory footprint of video game consoles and by the slow speed of CD-ROM drives at the time of its release. The game was created on Apple Macintosh computers and ran on the HyperCard software stack, though ports to other platforms subsequently required the creation of a new engine. The static nature of the environments led some to discount Myst as little more than an animated slideshow where each location is a picture that can be clicked on to explore. And while it's true that Myst relied on static images, the way those images were designed and utilized was far more innovative than a mere slideshow. The still images were meticulously crafted to create a vivid, immersive experience. The game's carefully constructed environments allowed the player to feel like they were truly exploring a new world, despite the lack of real-time graphics. The attention to detail in the scenes, combined with the haunting music and subtle animations, made each location feel alive, transcending the limitations of its still images. Thus, while the game's visual style might seem primitive by today's standards, it was groundbreaking for its time. Perhaps the most accurate description of Myst is that it represents the beginning of immersive multimedia interactive entertainment. It combined stunning visuals, an atmospheric soundtrack, intricate puzzles, and narrative storytelling in a way that felt unique and novel for its time. At its core, Myst invited players into a world that was both puzzling and enchanting, where exploration was rewarded with new discoveries and environmental storytelling. The combination of its intricately detailed graphics, engaging puzzles, and an eerie, desolate environment created a sense of immersion that few games have achieved at that time. For many, Myst represented a playable glimpse at the future of gaming, in a form of entertainment that engaged players on an emotional and intellectual level. When Myst was released in 1993, the world of video gaming was dominated by platforms like the Super Nintendo Entertainment System and Sega Genesis, both of which had limited graphical capabilities. Back at that time, the gaming industry was primarily focused on action-oriented, sprite-based games, and 3D graphics were still in their infancy. The typical gaming experience was fast-paced, with arcade-style games or platformers that had players navigate levels, fight enemies, and collect items. In such a landscape, Myst was nothing short of revolutionary. Its use of pre-rendered still images, combined with its challenging puzzles and atmospheric setting, was a stark departure from the prevalent trends. The game's focus on exploration and story-driven gameplay, with no combat or enemies, was not only different from the prevailing games at the time, but also foreshadowed future trends in gaming, particularly the emphasis on immersive environments and player choice. Additionally, Myst was one of the first games to take advantage of CD-ROM technology. It required more storage space than traditional cartridge-based games, and used the medium to store the game's stunning graphics and music. This allowed for a level of detail and depth in both the visual design and sound that was previously unattainable in console games. The use of CD-ROMs, as well as the shift to a more open-ended, exploratory form of gameplay, would become a hallmark in future gaming experiences. These factors explain it being the best-selling PC game for nearly a decade, with sales topping 6 million copies. Its success also helped drive the adoption of CD-ROM drives and popularize CD-based video games, showcasing the difference between games on that medium compared to the storage limitations found on floppy disks or cartridges. While there had been attempts at open-world games before, Myst set the stage for the modern era of immersive 3D environments. Though the game itself was not truly open-world in the modern sense, it was one of the first titles to allow players to freely explore large, interconnected environments at their own pace. The sense of freedom and discovery that Myst offered would later influence games like the Elder Scrolls series and other modern open-world games that prioritize exploration and immersion. So in conclusion, Myst was not just a game, but a revolutionary experience that redefined what video games could be. It blurred the line between games, interactive novels, and multimedia art, paving the way for the expansive, immersive gaming experiences of the 21st century. Its release marked a turning point in the history of video games, helping to bridge the gap between traditional, action-oriented games of the past and the open-world, interactive experiences of the present day by offering an experience that was as much about atmosphere, exploration, and story as it was about puzzles. Myst proved that video games could be both intellectually engaging and artistically profound. But that's just what I think. What did you think about Myst back in the day? Are there any games from that time that had a similar impact? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. And don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. If you're new here, I'd like to welcome you to the channel and invite you to subscribe for more feel-good retro gaming content. Alright everyone, this is the Retro Gaming Boss signing out, reminding you to keep the games old school and to keep exploring. I really appreciate you watching and all your support, and I'll see you on the next one.